Hello everyone, I am Maria Teresa Salvador, one of the reporters from Group 7 that will be discussing about a few example problems from our topic, liquidity of short-term assets related to the paying ability. I will be discussing the average cost, days in sale of inventory turnover in days, and operating cycle. Before we discuss the sample problems of each topic, let's determine first what are the formulas. Average cost is equal to total cost of production divided by total number of production units. Days sale in inventory is equal to ending inventory divided by cost of goods sold divided by 365. Inventory turnover is equal to cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. Inventory turnover in days is equal to average inventory divided by cost of goods sold divided by 365, and operating cycle, which is equal to accounts receivable turnover in days plus inventory turnover in days. These formulas will be used as we solve our sample problems in a while. Our first problem is about average cost. Empty Stuff PH designed the plush specifically to fit the incoming Valentine's Day demand for gift ideas. The fixed and variable cost of creating the design amounted to $10,000. The total number of plush produced is 200 plushies. How much is the average cost of producing plushies? In solving our problems, we will have 4 major steps. First is that we determine the formula. Second is finding the values. Then distribution of the given amounts to the formula. And lastly, constructing a sentence that answers the problem. Average cost is equal to total cost of production divided by total number of production units. Given provided by the problem are total cost of production, $10,000. Total number of production units, 200 plus. Average cost is equal to $10,000 divided by 200, which is equal to $50. $50 is the average cost per unit in producing plushies for Valentine's gift ideas. The next problem is referring to days sale in inventory. Marites Sari-Sari store wanted to determine the store's days sale in inventory. The store's ending inventory is amounting $30,000 while the cost of goods sold is $270. What is the value of days in sale in inventory? Just like what we did from the previous problem, we are able to determine the formula and solve the problem. Days in sale in inventory is equal to ending inventory divided by cost of goods sold divided by 365. And the given provided by the problem are ending inventory 30,000, cost of goods sold 270,000. Days in sale inventory is equal to 30,000 divided by 270,000 divided by 365. Before distributing the cost of goods sold to the ending inventory, we must distribute cost of goods sold to 365. So 270,000 divided by 365 is equal to 739.73, in which resulted to days in sale in inventory of 4.56 days. Marites Sari-Sari store would need 4.56 days to convert their inventory into sales. Our third problem pertains to inventory turnover. Japan Surplus just received their latest container of random merchandise. Japan Surplus accountant is being asked by the owner to report the inventory turnover of the latest container. The following accounts are provided to the accountant. Beginning inventory, 100,000, 150,000, Ending inventory 90,000, 120,000. Cost of goods sold is 200,000 and 300,000. Determine the value of inventory turnover. Inventory turnover is equal to cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. Before we determine the inventory turnover, we must first know the average inventory. Average inventory is computed by adding the beginning and ending inventory divided by 2. Average inventory is for 20xy is equal to 100,000 divided by 90,000 divided by 2, which is equal to 95,000, while average inventory for 20xc is equal to 150,000 plus 120,000 divided by 2, which is equal to 135,000. Inventory turnover for 20xy is equal to 200,000 divided by 95,000. That is equal to 2.11 times per year, while inventory turnover for year 20xz is equal to 300,000 divided by 135,000. That resulted to 2.22 times per year. This means that based on the inventory turnover, Japan Surplus can sell and replace its stock of goods 2.11 times in the year 20xy and 2.22 times in 20xz, which shows an increase by 0.11 from the previous year up to current year. The next sample problem is about inventory turnover in days. Shoeways manufactured shoelace for retail. Since the company is newly established, the financial analyst wanted to report for the inventory turnover in days. In the year 2012, an average inventory amounting 5,000 and cost of goods sold of 10,000 was recorded. The solution from problem D is the same formula for determining the days sales in inventory, except that it uses the average inventory. Inventory turnover in days is equal to average inventory divided by cost of goods sold divided by 365. Given by the problem are average inventory 5,000, cost of goods sold 10,000. Before distributing average inventory to cost of goods sold, we must divide it cost of goods sold by 365. So 10,000 divided by 365 is equal to 27.40 divided by 5,000, which is equal to an inventory turnover in days of 182.48 days. Shoelaces are expected to produce and sell goods within 182.48 days. Last but not the least, sample problem for operating cycle. Shine Apparel provided the following accounts in determining the operating cycle of their company. Accounts receivable, beginning balance 1 million, ending balance 2 million. Inventory, the beginning balance of 1.5 million and an ending balance of 1.8 million. Cost of goods sold 5 million and net sales of 3 million. Before solving the operating cycle, we must first determine the average accounts receivable turnover to come up with the accounts receivable in days. Similar case with the inventory turnover in days, in which computing first the average inventory and inventory turnover. The formulas are average accounts receivable is equal to accounts receivable beginning plus accounts receivable ending balance divided by 2. Next is accounts receivable turnover is equal to net sales divided by the average accounts receivable, and accounts receivable turnover in days is equal to 365 divided by the accounts receivable turnover. For the inventory, we have average inventory is equal to inventory beginning plus inventory ending balance is divided by 2. Inventory turnover, which is equal to cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. And lastly, inventory turnover in days is equal to 365 divided by inventory turnover. So, to compute for the accounts receivable turnover in days, we must compute for the average accounts receivable, which is equal to 1 million plus 2 million divided by 2, which is equal to 1.5 million, while accounts receivable turnover is equal to 9 million divided by 1.5 million, which is equal to 6 divided to 365, that is equal to the accounts receivable turnover in days of 60.83. For the average inventory, we have 1.5 million plus 1.8 million divided by 2, totaling to 1.650,000. Inventory turnover is equal to 5 million divided by 1,650,000, that is equal to 3.03 divided to 365, that is equal to the inventory turnover in days of 120.46. So, to compute for the operating cycle, we have the accounts receivable turnover in days plus inventory turnover in days, that is equal to 60.83 plus 120.46, totaling to 181.29 days. The operating cycle of Shein Apparel shows that the flow of inventory from purchasing to selling is made within 181.29 days, which indicates that the company is maximizing their inventory and will provide a profitable business. That is all. Thank you very much for listening.